In this section, we're going to see about pivot and unpivot in Power Query or Power BI. Let's start with pivot, what it is. Pivot, when you have your data in your rows, right? The attribute and values. This is in rows, that A1, A2, A3, A1, and it is repeated. And you want to convert this attribute into a column. Then it becomes a pivoting. Rows into columns is called pivoting. And what will happen to your values? Either you want to aggregate it using some count, or you can do minimum maximum of that values. You can do it. Otherwise you can mention do not summarize. This is what pivot is. On contrast, you already have your values in your columns, but you want to convert this columns into a row. There are different use cases. You need to pivot or unpivot your data. Let's try to understand with some examples. Now I have my data. We will start with pivot, where you have your project data. Each project has 5 stages: kickoff, execution, UAT, go live, and maintenance, and its respective start date. In order to get the milestone, right, difference between kickoff and execution or UAT, different stages, maybe each stage lead time, what is it, how many days it took from kickoff to execution, execution to UAT. For that you need to have these values in your columns. Then you can do the date diff between these two dates. Even here it is easy to do. In Excel you can able to do, but in Power BI or tools like that, it is very difficult to do row by row comparison, the row differences. Always it works with the columns. So in this case we need to convert this into columns, that stages for each project. Then you can do the date difference between each stages. That is what we are going to see as part of the pivot. Let's go to Power BI. Now let's get the data. It's in Excel. I have your data in pivot. Let's click on pivot here. Then I have a project timeline. Click on this. So now you got your data over here, like stages, start date, and everything over here. As I mentioned before, I need to convert the stages into columns, and this start date should appear as a value for those columns. For that, click on this column, go to transform, right? There is a option called pivot column. Then use this one. Here in the values field, what values should appear for that column going to create. I want to have that values to be start date, and what should be its aggregation, right? As I said before, you can either choose do not aggregate or maximum of that particular stages, each stages. These are the mandatory things. Then click on OK. Now as you can see, for each project I have a kickoff date and execution, UAT, go live, and maintenance. As we already know, in order to create a new column, you can always do the date difference between these two. Then you can have a first milestone, kickoff and execution, number of days. This is how you can able to do. Then you can able to do this analysis on top of this. This is what the pivot is. Let's try to get the data for unpivot, the example, so that we will understand much better. For unpivot, I have a data in each location. Every month I have certain budget. This is the budget data. So usually people will give in different format. You need to convert that into a proper format so that you can able to analyze. Having the data like this, it will be very difficult when you want to do the time intelligence function based on this column, because it requires time intelligence function requires you to have your date column in a particular column. Then only you can able to analyze it properly. Even you want to have monthly budgets, right? You need to drag and drop particular column which has a date. Then you can have a time analysis, time series analysis in a line chart. but this data will not help us any kind of stuffs like that. So basically you need to convert this data into a single column, and this value should appear in a new column for that particular respective column's value, right? So how to do that? In order to do that, let's try to create it as a table. I will show the difference so that you will understand. This is just a small tip for you how you can properly manage in your Excel. Let's create it as a table, and let me provide the name as budget TBL, right? You can name it properly, but I'm just to differentiate between this budget and the table I'm creating, I have added TBL here. Let's click on OK, then save. Let's go to Power BI, and then you can go to home, get the recent sources or new sources, whatever it is. The recent sources will connect only to the file. What happened? Let's wait for a few minutes. Let that particular table completed, right? Let it completely done. Now let's go back and get the Unpivot data. Let's click on Unpivot data, Excel. Now you can see these two indicates the sheet, okay, the budget and project timeline, whereas this budget table will have a different symbol called table. Okay, since we create a table, that will appear as a table. I always prefer you create a table in your Excel, so that will be properly maintained. Even you see the difference here, this contains a header, whereas this doesn't contain a header. You will get only the text. Then you need to promote it as a column header, that we already seen. So always prefer, if you are using a Excel, create it as a table, then it will have a proper column headers. Ensure that your table has the column header option, choose. So we will go with this option right now. This is just like a tip for you, how you can properly manage your data. Now coming to our actual topic, like how to convert that unpivoted, right? So click on here, there is an option called unpivot other columns. You may imagine you can have this is a very simple data set. You can have all other columns towards your left hand side. Assume there are 5 more columns prior to the location. Choose all the columns by shift and select like this. Okay, then right click on this and unpivot other columns. If you choose this, what will happen? All these columns will be unpivoted, meaning like this columns will become one of the column A, and these values become the column B. So that's what it's going to happen. Once you click on this, that's it. It's just a simple click. So this will be a month, and this will be a budget. Now you got the data over here. This is still in a text. You need to convert it should be converted as a date. For that, right click and let's try with simple date time. It shows a wrong value because it by default it picks up the current year date, but it shows everything as a 18th of 18th date, right? This is incorrect. So let's roll back. I want to convert this one to 01 January 2018. Okay, that is the actual date. For that, go to add column from example, then choose. First we need to convert into proper date, 01 Jan 18, right? If you convert like this, then click on OK, then right click on this, then change type to date. There you go. Now you got the actual date. This should be the month. So this attribute no more required. We can remove this right now. With this we can able to do our proper mapping. So why we need to convert this? Let's go and check it out. The data over here, once it's been applied, let's try to load this one. So let's see. Now you have a data here. When you choose one column, Power BI requires one column to be in the x-axis and the value. So let's do it like this. So unless you have your data in the column, right, you don't get the time series value. There is no data between these 3 months. That's why it's appearing very less. It's not okay, there is a data. It's not 0. It's 54005458. So you can do it properly over here. It's a categorical. Even here it should not be logarithmic or whatever you want to choose, right? So it should be 0, and here it should be 55,000. Yeah, there you go. Now this shows a proper value for your budget. Maybe I can increase it to 70k. Yeah, there you go. Now it shows a proper budget value on each month. So I hope you understand the purpose of this pivot and unpivot. Otherwise your data won't work properly in Power BI. This is very important step if you have your data in a different format.